I bet Todd's like he never thought he would do so much work
You gotta
today.
go over the hedging again because I know I'm not crazy.
Yeah,
And don't say on the call that you ain't say hedging. That's what I call it. I never called it that. That's what you call it.
so listen, I know I said I don't need y'all's money, but I'm gonna have to charge you for this. Don't you?
No,
How much
no,
more?
no, no, no.
So
I got
look,
$100 for you.
so listen.
Just take it out of my Cartier fund.
Listen. When price comes down,
Okay.
if it activates my sell position before it activates my buy position, I'm gonna be at a loss at 1%, right? Once it activates my buy position, I'm locked in at a 1% loss. Now, here's an interesting thing. You can go on vacation for 2 weeks if it's your personal account, but you can't do this on a prop firm account because you can't hold a position over the weekend. If you get a prop firm where you can hold a position over the weekend, though, you can go on a vacation for 2 weeks, 2 months, and when you come back, you'll still be the same amount in a negative that you were when you left, even if this price is 300 pips to the top, because you don't win anything and you don't lose anything while the hedge is activated. You understand that?
Okay.
Do you understand? You said okay, but you didn't say you understood.
I understand that.
Okay. So once you decide, hey, the market is moving in my direction, now all I got to do is start cutting off my hedge. So let's just say we had a 2.0 buy. And we had a 2.0 sell. As this hedge pushes up, you as a trade manager have to decide how much of this hedge you're going to cut off, right? And the way you go about doing that, in my opinion, you don't just arbitrarily start cutting the hedge off. You go up and you look at your time frames and you make sure that you have a clear run, right? You make sure that the market doesn't have any more speed bumps that can push you back. So once you decide,
no fair value gaps, no order blocks, no nothing. You want all white space. Okay, so let's just do this, right? Let's just measure from the bottom how many pips from your entry on that on the sell, right? Up to the buy. How many pips is that? So it activated, right? And you got it there. So now I'm in the negative because I'm supposed to be in the cell at the bottom, right? So it activated right there. It started going to my buy. How many pips was that?
18 pips.
How much?
18, 1-8.
18 pips. And you had a 2.0. So 18 times $2. 18 times $2.
18 times 20.
18 times okay, I forgot that's $360, right? You're $360 in the negative right now.
Yep.
Okay. Let's make sense of this. We're gonna get this very clear. So right now I'm $360 in the negative, and I didn't start making money yet on the buy, but I know that it's gonna go up, right?
We know that this is going here. We're taking this trade.
We know we going there, right? So $360 at the opening of the buy limit, or the buy execution, right? The buy. So I take 180 out. So now I'm at a 1.0, right? And it's gonna keep going. So even though it keeps,
You're taking partial.
I was gonna take a partial. So I'm gonna cut it at.
Let me tell you what you should take. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's say you have 157 pips, right? You have 157 pips available to you on this trade.
Right.
If you 18 pips, if you cut 18 pips off of 157, you're about at 140 pips, right? Is that
Yeah. Okay.
So if you cut 18, if you make your cuts in the first 17 pips
Into the
into
buy.
into the buy, you're gonna make 140 pips worth of money, right? So
Okay.
you make 20 times 140, whatever it is. So in order for you to make that cut, to cut off the pips, 18 pips, you just want to take um your 2.0 lot size and get rid of it in 18 pips. So 20 divided by 18 is what? 1 and change. So
Right. But that's what I'm saying. How do you know when and how to cut this thing off? Because if
I'm
you
just,
already in the negative, okay, and listen.
I just say you're going to take the 20, right? $20
Mm-hmm.
by the 18 pips that you're going to cut it off, right? So you're going to cut off about $1.10 every pip. So you can measure it out. 5 pips in, you'll cut whatever 5 times $1.10. What is that? 5 times 1.1.
5 times $10. Oh, 1.1 times 5 is what? 5.5.
Okay.
Maybe
So that's a 0.50 every 5 pips, or 0.55 every 5 pips. That'll give you what you need to cut off and have it cut by 18 pips. If you want to break it down by 3 pips, you do a 1.1 times 3 is what, 3.3?
Mm-hmm.
So every 3 pips, you're going to cut off a 0.33. So you can do it at the 6 pip mark, you can cut off a 0.66. And at the 12 pip mark, you'll cut off another 0.66. And at the 18 pip mark, you'll cut off the remainder of your
I
trade.
thought you wasn't trying to be on the charts all the time.
I'm not. You got to manage your trade.
That's what
yeah.
I'm sound like watching that.
You got
Yeah.
to.
So if you get in for the hedge, how do you take out like every 3 pips if you're not on the charts all day?
Gonna take
Well, I
your
guess on your phone.
You can do it every 3 pips. You can do it every 6 pips. You can do it twice. You can do it at 9 pips and then 18. However you want to manage your trade. You got to be at work. This is not an all day thing. It ain't gonna take all day to go 18 pips. What are y'all talking about, man?
Because
I'm
because
a bit.
we US 30 traders. So 3 pips be like that. This 3 pips will probably take a day.
So if you're on US 30, it's the same concept.
I'm
Yeah,
just
but it moves way
confused.
faster.
Divide it up however you divide it up. Right?
I'm just confused.
Why are you confused?
I understand what
Because
he's
what?
saying, but I don't think that will work for me.
Because like, why
And
would you be taking a sell if you definitely know it's gonna go for a buy, and then you're taking the negative partials
Huh.
out in the buy, and then you're basically like just making back
Step it away from
what
your
you've
profit.
lost,
Yeah,
So
you're
yeah,
stepping away from
in
your
the
profit.
buy, and then
Mhm.
with your profits. It like
okay.
I'm just really
For
confused. But
the
I'll
people
watch it back anyway. I'll watch it back.
who are
Hopefully, I'll get it.
listening to this call, please.
Pardon?
I said for the people who are listening to this in the aftermath, I want them to focus on my voice. Don't focus on the don't focus on the complaining that's going on.
Nobody's complaining.
Wow!
Hey, listen,
Wow!
I'm telling you
Wow!
how to do it. You guys are giving me excuses. I
I'm not
understand.
giving
No,
you
we're
excuses.
asking. We're trying to figure it out.
Well, listen, hold on. Let me finish.
I'm not giving you
I'm not
excuses, but
telling
thank you for Taisha for asking the questions because I'm just like, yeah, she was asking good questions, but
but
I'm
I
still
want y'all to
confused.
understand
I'm,
that this is going to be inconvenience. Whenever your hedge is activated, it is an inconvenience. But I want to remind you what will happen if you didn't have a hedge.
It might not even activate. So you're trying to say, right? So if you put into one way will activate and the other one might not activate. They
I
both don't have
agree.
to activate,
I
right?
agree. But I'm
Oh,
just speaking in terms of
okay.
normally when you get into a trade, you enter right here and it
you go
hits
to
your
draw
stop.
down.
You're done.
Hit
It's
stop
not
loss.
inconvenient. Listen, it's not inconvenience. You're just out of the trade, right? But you guys are saying, oh man, how am I supposed to do that? It's an inconvenience, but you're still in the trade. The other way around, you lost your money. There's nothing to even talk about.
But this is the thing. This is what I would probably think to do, and I know I'm an amateur or a beginner trader, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm not at your level. If my trade that I knew was buying up went into drawdown and hit my stop loss, I would just assume that my stop loss might have been too tight, and I would re-enter when I saw confirmation instead of going selling it. I would buy it up for because it's in a block.
That
So it's
that's
in a block. So I would assume for it to bounce off and go in the direction that I was already anticipating.
that sounds good. It really does.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you for the compliment.
But has that worked for you?
I don't take my own trades, but they do because I always watch it go into profit, and I'm like,
So I need
there I go,
somebody
not trusting myself.
that I need somebody who actually takes the trades to say whether that works. The only reason that people hedge is because they're absolutely sure of the direction, but they don't want to get wicked out, or maybe they don't want a tight stop loss. Maybe they want to over leverage. Maybe they want to use a 20 lot position.
But then I wouldn't do a gap. I will be closer to
Well,
they both my stop loss and my sell.
I think you're
No,
missing.
sorry. My buy limit and my sell limit will be closer. It would not be at my stop loss.
It's not necessarily going to be closer. This 18 pips could represent 1%, right? You have a 50K account.
Right.
So maybe
That's not even 1%, right?
would be $500. In fact, it's less than $500.
Yeah.
300. You told me it was $300 some dollars, so it's less than 1%. So maybe your space would be a little bit longer because you're risking 1% is $500.
Yeah.
So, how close together they are is really immaterial. The point is, for whatever reason, you entered this trade, and it hit your hedge.
It hit my stop loss. My hedge, right?
You would have been stopped out if you didn't have a hedge.
If I didn't have right.
Here's the way that I think about it. A lot of my trades take place when I'm not at the computer. Maybe I'm asleep. Maybe I'm with my mom or one of my nieces and nephews. The trade activates. I'm in the trade, right?
Right.
When I finish doing what I'm doing, when I finish doing what I'm doing in real life, I check my phone. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm in the trade, but my hedge is activated. Maybe it's moved up here already. So now I have to cut this hedge off and allow my trade to keep going. Whereas if you were living your life and you had this trade idea, you'd have lost 1%. I didn't lose 1%. I'm not going to make as much as I could have made because the trade moved up here already, but I'm still going to make a profit off the same trade that you lost on. And that's why professionals hedge, because anything can happen. It could be slippage. It could be a market maker wicking the position out or whatever the case may be. But the fact that the trade goes your direction is proof that your analysis was correct. Your entry was flawed, but your analysis was correct.
Right.
And also, there's another reason to hedge too, and that's because I want to make a certain amount of money on this trade. What do I mean by that? Let's look. Let's say we both have a 50K account, and we want to take the trade from here to here, and you risk your 1%, and your 1% says that your lot size has to be a 2.6, right? So you're going to make $26 per pip all the way up here. But let's just say I want to make $85 a pip, right? I want to use an 8.5. So I have to do the math and say, okay, it's an 18 pip stop loss, or not 18 pip stop loss. I have to say how many 8.5 times what is 500. So I'll take 8.5 or 85 divided by 500, and that'll give me the pip count that I have to put my hedge. So maybe it's 5 pips or 3 pips.
Leandro said this is too
58,
entertaining.
58.
So it's 5.8.
Yeah. Well, no, so it's 58.8.
58.8 is what?
You said 500 divided by 8.5?
No, 500 divided by 85.
Oh, sorry. 500 divided by 85.
5.8 million.
5.8.
So my stop loss or my hedge trade will have to be 5 pips away, not 18.
Right.
It's a good chance that it's going to activate my hedge. But as the price moves up, now I can start cutting off my hedge. And at some point, I don't have a hedge and I'm making $85 a pip, but you're still making $26 a pip. What you think about that? Is that too complex of an idea?
I'm so confused. I'll get it. I will definitely get it.
Okay.
I just don't understand.
Let me give you a real life example.
I'm not special. I just don't understand.
No, I know.
If I have the confidence in knowing where my direction of the trade is, why would I place two opposite direction trades?
Exactly.
Well,
like I said, I'm gonna have to watch this over again. But
I'll explain why. How much money are you gonna make in your trade?
$26, you said. Per trade, per pip. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, if your lot size is a 2.6, I'm gonna change this to 2.6.
I'm doing $26 per pip.
Okay. That's gonna give you $26 per pip.
Per pip, right. And I'm going 18 pips in, right?
No, forget about the 18 pips.
Okay, go ahead.
You have no stop. I mean, your stop loss is 18 pips, but we're gonna pretend that in your situation, your stop loss doesn't get triggered, but your trade good for 26 pips. It's going to go 157.7. Do the math. How much money would you have made?
157.7, you said?
Yep. $26 a pip.
$4,100. $4,100.
Do you have kids?
I have a 19-year-old.
Okay. Let's say you're going to make $4,100.
Yeah.
Now, let's say your 19-year-old comes in and he asks you for $3,000 to do whatever. I don't know, whatever. He need to go and get him a food truck because he gonna set up a business,
right.
in Manhattan. And you're like, I don't want to get this clown $4,000 that I'm gonna get off this trade, right? So maybe you want to make $56 per trade. What is $56 gonna pay you?
56 times 157.7. Okay, 0.7 is $8,831.
That'll help you out.
Oh yeah.
Same trade setup, same pips that you're gonna get.
Right, of course.
So let's do the math on it. So how can I use a 5.6 lot size without blowing my account, without violating my trading plan, which says I'm going to use 1%, right?
Right.
$500 divided by 56 is what?
8.9.
8.9. That makes my stop loss very tight. So I come in here with an 8 pip stop loss, and lo and behold, price hits my stop, my triggers my hedge trade, but it eventually comes back the same way you're going, right?
Right.
So now I'm losing $56 a trade for those 8.9. Just call it 9 pips. That's 9 times 56.
504.
Okay.
The details for me. Go ahead. Let's make this make sense. Let's make this make sense.
As this pushes up, we don't have any turbulence.
Right.
But we understand as traders, like you understand as a mom, the faster I get this hedge trades cut off, the more money I get to pocket because I got to give this clown $3,600.
You
Right?
call my whole son a clown, but okay, I'm listening.
I call my daughter a clown. You know, all she tried to use me as an ATM. But this this is the deal, right? All you have to decide how to cut this $56 a pip off so you can actually start making money and you can pocket somewhere close to the $8,000 you thought you was going to make, right? So if I can cut this 5.6 lot size off in the first 10 or 15 pips, it's going to help me out, right? So let's say 56 divided by 12. What is that?
4.6.
4.6? Okay, so that means in 12 pips, right? You can cut this off in 12 pips if you cut 0.46 off every pip, right? Y'all understand? Are y'all tracking?
Right. No, we only have 5.6. So how we cutting up 4.6? That's the majority of it, right?
4.6. 0.46.
Yeah.
It said 0.46. It says
Gotta move the
4.6.
decimal order. We're cutting off
We're gonna
0.4
move the decimal. Okay.
every one pip. Now, nobody wants to sit at the computer every pip and cut off 0.46. So what I suggest is, since we want to make these cuts in 12 pips, I suggest that we take this 0.46 and multiply it by 6. We'll just do cuts. We'll do one at 6 pips and we'll cut the rest off at 12 pips. So what's 0.46 times 6?
2.76.
Okay.
0.46 times 6. What did you say?
2.76.
2.76. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just make it easy and we'll cut off 2.7, or we can cut off 2.8 because we greedy. We're gonna cut off 2.8 first, and then we'll just cut the rest of the trade off at the 12 pip mark, which will be whatever 5.6 minus 2.8 is. That's what we'll cut off at the 12 pip mark. So after 12 pips, after 6 pips, right? You're not going to make any money for the first 6 pips. Okay. But when you cut this 2.6 off, what is 5.6 minus 2.8?
2.8.
Is what?
2.8.
That's pretty easy. All right. So what we can do is we can calculate, we can take 6 pips off of this 157.7. It was 157.7, right?
157.7, yeah.
So we're going to start off by minusing 6 pips. So we only have 151.
Yeah.
Right? So we have 151.7. Now we're going to, for the first 6 pips that we can make money, we're only going to make $28 a pip. So what is that?
So the 151.7, $42,247.
Huh? For 6 pips?
Oh, not 6 pips.
What'd you do?
Oh,
28 times 6, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? 168.
yeah.
Right.
That sounds better. 168. Now, so do 157.7 minus 12.
Minus 12, 145.7.
So 145.7, you can multiply that by 56 pips.
8,159.20.
I like that. Say it again, please.
8159.20.
So
Yeah.
this is your real results. In this trade that you was lazy with, you made $4,100. Trade that you did a little work with, you made 81.59 plus 168. That's let's just call it $8,300 minus 5. So you made 7,800.
78, yeah, 79, 78.
Damn near double your profit because you did a little extra work. You can't, as a trader, You know what I'm saying? Like these are real
Mhm.
decisions that will become available to you because you took the time to learn how to hedge, or you took the time to actually manage your trade. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think we all agree that hedging is probably the best way to do it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the numbers make
Yeah.
we like
Right.
the numbers. I feel like it's the whole math class right now. But the numbers are clearly better on this side. But again, I don't know. I'm
You don't
confused.
have
I'm
to
not
do
confused. I'm not confused. I'm not
it.
confused. But I don't know how USD JPY moves. So to manage that will probably be, I will have to watch it to see how it moves to be confident enough to do something like that.
It would probably move those 12 pips. And on the Asian session, it might take 30 to 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
On the New York or London session, it might take 10 minutes. Maybe. So for 10 minutes of work, you
Mm-hmm.
doubled your pay.
Right.
It's hard to argue against it.
So when you hedge, make sure you record it, okay? So we can see it in real time.
Yeah.
I wanna
Just this, just you don't have to show the profit part, just
I'm
the
gonna start live trading like once a week.
Oh, that's cool.
So
That'd be dope, actually. That's
yeah, we'll start doing live trading once a week, and then everybody will have a chance to see what it's like inside the war room. You know what I'm saying?
in the
Mm.
war room. You be in the war.
Well, you that's what live trading is fun sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
We've done
Every
it
day.
the last 2 nights on the Asian session, but it's like watching paint dry on the Asian session. So we
Yeah.
had to a different session, but it was important for me to do it on the Asian session with the group I was with, because you have plenty of time to explain things, and the session was relevant to what we were looking for. Like that was the U.S. This UJ trade that was setting up for that trade that I took this morning. The work that I spent last night was the only reason that I'm up $22,000 right now. So I got little sleep last night, but it's okay because the reward is whatever I'm going to get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's a direct reflect. It was an inconvenience. Yeah, it was an inconvenience. But sometimes, like if work is an inconvenience, but y'all go every day.
Yeah.
And most of y'all's jobs ain't paying 22K in a day.
Hell no.
So that's what I'm saying, when it comes to these trades. You're going to do a little work when you're in the trade. But after that, man, you can sleep. Like I can sleep at any point during the day. My little brothers are at work right now. I'm in their apartment. They're at work right now.
Mm.
And I guarantee you that they only make about $1,000 a week. Maybe 1,100, 1,200 a week. That's horrible for the amount of time they spend at work. So, I'm not saying that hedging is not inconvenient. It is if your hedge gets activated. So if we had set this hedge up and it didn't get activated, it'd have been a win-win because we would have made the entire amount that we were trying to make. But in just this example is an example that I use all the time because sometimes I just want to make this dollar amount, right? And that's another way I can guarantee myself 10%, especially on a week that I only see one or two things that I can trade. And at a time when I wasn't stacking. Now that I stack, man, you give me a 40 pip You give me 40 pips, man, I can pull out. I can pull $5 grand out that trade.
Mm. Okay. I gotta watch this
Almost
back.
up. It's
Okay.
11:22.
Yeah.
Yo, I love it. I love like trading. I feel like a whole nerd. I swear to God.